my journey and what I don't. Are y'all really like sciencing it out? 20 Toya 4. I like that, Toya. Oh, you put your name in it. Manifest your own reality by infusing your own name. Let me see what is available to me and what's not.
From the very beginning, child, starting with Toya, who is fucking drop dead beautiful. It don't make no sense. Toya could be no makeup on, real hair, sitting in like a fucking muumuu with holes in it, and she is just stunning. From the very beginning, child, starting with Toya, who is fucking drop dead beautiful. It don't make no sense. Toya could be no.
And it's just like how they say, man. There's plenty of them out here, and you might run into a Toya or somebody who's going to actually work with you. You know what I'm saying?
If you run into a Toya, you grab her and you keep her. Okay?
Yeah.
Is this thing on? Looks like it is. Looks like it's on. Hopefully you can hear me well. I'm having a great Tuesday as opposed to yesterday. Monday was whack. Oh my gosh. I did not like Monday. But today, much better. So what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hey, Mr. Shook to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody in the building. Good to see you all. I think I'm going to change my avatar. Vincent, with Vince, your commentating during Mr. Z's stream earlier was so good. Like, I don't think you realize how good your comments are. And even though Mr. Z does a good job of reading them, I just don't think you realize how golden they are. Your commentary is golden. No, I don't really like this, actually. I was going to change it, but now this feels... You can't see the whole picture. He said he's at work sorting his life out, paying bills now so he could breathe later. I hear that. I understand that for sure. I completely get that. So I just wanted to have a cute little conversation, a little Toya talk, a little Tuesday Toya talk. It's Toya Tuesday, in case you didn't know. Let's have a little chat bout. So since y'all know I'm super into like grammar and speaking correctly and using the right word and saying what you mean, I've done some homework, shall we call it. I got a homework assignment over the weekend that I did too. So it got me kind of excited to do more homework. So I did a little more homework. And here we are. Yes, exactly. Words mean things. Words mean things. They do. You can't just use words just because they sound right or because you've heard somebody else use them. No, you should probably do the heavy lifting of knowing what they mean before you use them. Shout out to Mr. Z in the building. My mom and sister hit me for $120 towards Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. See, I don't know if I said this to y'all, but I told my mother, and she is none too pleased, but I told her that I'm opting out of Thanksgiving this year. And I meant it. I meant it. I do not want any parts of the Thanksgiving hullabaloo, the rush, the I forgot this. Can you go to the store? Will you check this? Will you make this real quick? Can you shred the cheese for the mac and cheese when you knew you had to make mac and cheese? So why did you wait until right now to ask me to shred the cheese? Like, I opt out. I'm tapped out of opting in, so I'm opting out. Shout out to Uncle GP. Hey, Uncle GP. Uncle GP in the building, the gold professor, also known as the builder's table. Because what? He's building. Shout out to you, GP. He said, why am I the only one who's hit the likes? Come on, y'all. Hit the like. It costs you nothing to hit the like. And I haven't even tried to shake y'all down for a Cash App yet. The least you could do is hit the like. I mean, I haven't asked for a Cash App yet, but likes are free. So anyway, let me share my right, Mr. Z. Exactly. I'm not even going to repeat that, but yeah, I'm opting out. Don't get me wrong. I love good food. I love soul food. I love a lot of my mom's cooking. There's no indictment on her at all. I'm just, growing up, it was always at my aunt's house. So from a little kid up until yesterday, it's always been the tradition to go to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving. And a while ago, a few years back, my mom decided she didn't want to go to my aunt's house anymore for Thanksgiving. So that created a little rift. And so then she started cooking dinner for Thanksgiving, which I wasn't mad at, but also it was like, all right, I got to divide my time because I can't not go to auntie's house because that's where I've always gone. But I also can't not go to my mom's house because she's a mom. And if you have a Black mom, you can't. I don't have to. I shouldn't have to. But anyway, after being in Texas for the past few years for Thanksgiving and not having the obligation of going anywhere, honestly, it has me looking at the holiday very differently than I used to. And plus, because I'm not as big backed as I once was, it don't hit the same. I don't have the same desire to sit around and see how many plates I could eat on that day. I'm good with one and maybe a take home. And then it's like, even the take home, I'm looking at the next day like, But I'll tell you one thing that I really can't miss. I don't know where I'm going to get it from, but I'm going to find it. That sweet potato cheesecake combo. They did their big one with that. A few years ago when they started making the sweet potato cheesecake or sweet potato pie cheesecake, whatever it is, it's the mashup of the two. And it's delicious. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Every Thanksgiving, that's all I'm looking forward to. As long as I got that, I'm good. Hey, I'm listening. Shout out to you in the building. All right, so let's get into why words mean things. Let me stop flashing y'all my bra strap. That's not what I'm trying to do. Before I get to that, I see a question. I'm going to answer that. Uncle GP says, could you explain what your background picture means? So I asked ChatGPT to create a photograph for me maybe like 10 streams ago when I was talking to Maggie about drama and women's predisposition to spurning it, wanting it, feeding it. And so this was the picture that I came up with to support that conversation. Because as you can see, let me remove myself. and my face. I have 2 lights on me right now, so I know I look pale. I think this is just the winter paling that happens to those of us who are of a certain hue. I know I'm not light skinned. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the lighting, along with the winterizing of my skin, is making me look a little brighter skin than I normally do, y'all. So I apologize if I hope I'm not offending anybody. I hope my brightness isn't too bright for y'all. I know I'm Toya's son, so I tend to shine bright. But seeing as how I'm back in New Jersey for the first time in 3 years, and I haven't been having Jersey winters for a while, I think my skin is trying to reacclimate, because being in Texas, that air is different. And I was looking kind of golden year round when I was in Texas. I was loving that. So, but now that that's over, I don't know if I'll ever go back. But yeah, I don't know where you've been, Mr. Z. Sweet potato cheesecake. And here's the crazy part. You ready? I don't like sweet potatoes. And I don't like sweet potato pie. Somehow, they found a way to mix it with cheesecake, something I do like. I really like cheesecake. So if you're listening and you love me, send me some cheesecake. I had the pleasure of going to a really nice Thanksgiving dinner the first year I was in Texas. Shout out to Rogish. He had a friend who was a chef at this really upscale hotel, and he invited us for the pre-fee Thanksgiving dinner, because neither one of us was interested in cooking a dinner. So we were like, let's go out somewhere for Thanksgiving dinner, which to me is the best way to do Thanksgiving. If you're going to do Thanksgiving, I really feel like after a certain age, it's best to just go somewhere else, let somebody else cook it, so you can just eat and go home and not have to clean anything. But yeah, it was amazing. That was my first time having it. And it came with like a marshmallow topping. Oh, I mean, the food was good too, but I don't even remember what I ate. All I remember is that cheesecake pie, like that pumpkin cheesecake or whatever it was, sweet potato cheesecake pie. It might have been pumpkin. I don't remember, but it was delicious. And ever since then, I've noticed that people everywhere are recreating it and doing it some kind of way. Sometimes you'll see it mixed together, like swirled in, or you'll see one layer here and one layer there. I don't care. Whatever variation or iteration of it, it's all delicious, and I recommend it. He said, if it ain't vegan, I don't want it. Well, I do know that they make a vegan cheesecake. I have seen that before. I have never tried it, but I have seen it. People do it. It's a thing. But I don't know if there is a vegan version of what I'm talking about. Go P. Hey, UFO Kamikaze 1. So yeah, let me get to this. I'm gonna give y'all some. Listen, I've seen this all over the place, y'all, and I just want y'all to stop. I just want y'all to stop. Should, could, would, have is the correct spelling. Should, could, would, of does not exist. It is not a thing. Stop it with the OF. Stop it, please. I understand that the words would have, could have, should have, shortened sound like would have, should have, could have, but it doesn't sound like would of, should of, could of. It's would have, should have, could have. Apostrophe VE, not space OF. The correct spelling of the phrase would have is the past tense of will have and is used to describe something that was possible in the past but is no longer. For example, she would have been a professional athlete if she hadn't broken her leg. She would have been a professional athlete if she hadn't broken her leg. Not she would have been a professional, because of does not, if I just wish that people could visualize the words before they say them. Because if you looked at it, if you saw it written down, you would realize it doesn't make sense. You just would see that. It's like, okay. And an incorrect misspelling of would have. People often confuse would have with would of because they sound similar, especially when would have is contracted to would have. And see, here's the thing, 18th letter. I'm not charging nobody up for their spelling not being the best. I happen to be a great speller. But you know what? Even if you spelled it wrong, but you say it correctly, I have way more of an appreciation for you being able to say what you mean instead of just saying it because you heard somebody else say it and rolling with it because you know what I mean. We are good. We are good for that. We are so good for, you know what I mean. And it's like, no, say what you mean. My mom used to always tell me, you got a mouth, so use it. See, this is what I'm doing. I'm using my mouth. I like they called me mouth almighty, tongue everlasting when I was a kid. They told me I was motor mouth. And here I am talking to you guys on YouTube. So thank you for letting me do that, because if I wasn't on YouTube, I'd still be talking someplace else. Shout out to Indigo Flow in the building. Yes, UFO kamikaze of indicates possession. So why would you say would possess? Would of. I would have went. I would possess went. I would of went. Let's go to something else, because this is also a really good way to explain it. Is it would have or would have? You are not alone in your confusion about would have and would have. Below, we'll get to the bottom of which phrase is correct, plus let you in on a little secret so that you never use the wrong phrase again. Do you know the difference? Hey, Clue Channel. You know what? See, I just said hi to you, and then you're going to type that. Trolling happens in many ways, a myriad of ways, if you will. And this is the example of trolling. I should have gotten a notification for this stream. I should have gotten a notification for this. You should have. Anyway, like Indigo says, phonics, yo. Exactly. Oh, I'm going to read this like in your voice. Daggone it. I should have spelled it correctly when I wrote my girlfriend that breakup letter. You are funny, Gold Pig. You're funny. You're funny. Exactly. Woulda. I would be happy with woulda, shoulda, coulda. I'm happy with that. Even if you wrote it like this. That's fine. That's also fine. I'm not mad at slang. I'm not mad at any of those variations. Woulda, but it's never been of. All right, let's keep going with this. And then I'm going to move on to something else, because we're going to go through all of the recent things that I've been hearing people say that have just been grinding my gears. Okay. This mistake is common among English speakers because the contracted version of would have, aka would have, sounds similar to would of when pronounced aloud. And obviously, if you're saying one quicker than the other, then that's where the confusion goes, right? I would have helped, but I didn't know you were struggling. I would have helped, but I didn't know you were struggling. I would have gone to the party, but I got sick. Okay. If you read the two examples, you'll notice that they sound similar. That's because the contracted form of would have, which is would have, sounds very much like would of. Even if no one can distinguish between the two phrases when you're speaking, the mistake becomes obvious as soon as you write them down. This is why it's important for folks to read. Like, we're doing all this talking to each other on social media, but when's the last time you picked up a book, a pamphlet, a flyer, just read something? Sorry for your loss. That's another one. Because what did I lose? Or am I lost? Am I directionless? Are you sorry because I'm directionless? Like, Indigo Flow says, yeah, I like to spell certain words out phonetically when I'm using vernacular. It's that easy. Like, let me tell y'all, I think I said this on a stream a long time ago, but I'm never afraid to expose my errors, right? One word that I used to always misspell is separate. Because I used to always spell it separate instead of separate. I always would separ instead of sepa. And so I would have to write it and be like, okay, this is the right one. You know, like I would really have to go through the motions because I was messing that word up every time. Like, as an editor, you guys, like, that word, if that word was anywhere in the article I was writing, we would go to proofread and that word will always be wrong from me because I just struggled with it. Like, I really have to sit, even today, I still have to sit and like look at it before I write it and make sure and go back. Because I mean, if you misspell a word enough, your autocorrect will not correct it. That's where we're at. He said, I misplaced my grandmother. She didn't pass away. Yeah. Sorry for your lost grandmother. Hopefully you find her. Like, way to like cheapen the sentiment. So it says, remember, would have or the contracted form would have is the only correct spelling. All right.
Would have. Would have. Would have. Would have.
I just feel like there's a huge difference in both of those. So when to use would have. We've covered the correct spelling of the phrase would have. Now let's go over what the phrase means and how to use it in a sentence. Would is a type of modal auxiliary verb, along with can, could, shall, should, may, might, must, and ought to. Right? You could say could have, should have, might have, must have. You could even say may have. These types of verbs help demonstrate ability, possibility, probability, necessity, permission, and obligation. Together, would and have form a modal verb phrase. Would have is often used to express something that was expected to happen in the past, but didn't because something else did or didn't occur first. Jared would have won the race, but unfortunately, he twisted his ankle in the last mile. In the sentence above, the phrase would have helps express that Jared was poised to win the race, but didn't because he twisted his ankle. It's important to note that past participles always follow the phrase would have. He would have went, but he had the wrong address is incorrect. But he would have gone, but he had the wrong address is correct. Then they give you more examples. I mean, I'm not gonna belabor the point here, but just the next time you use should have, would have, could have, please just think about this. Please just visualize it and understand that an apostrophe VE is not the same as OF. They're just two different things. Please. It's a contraction. All right. And it has nothing to do with pregnancy. Let's not. Okay. So the next one that I want to go over. Oh, hold on. I think we get comfortable with mashing words together and forget to adjust how we enunciate in the proper context when speaking. I say read the room to better your speaking. Absolutely. Absolutely. We need to adjust how we pronounce things so that we are clear. As I'm speaking to you right now, I'm using a more polished form of my speaking tone because I'm placing the imperative on understanding. I would much rather you understand what I'm saying. I don't care if you agree, but I would much rather you understand what I'm saying so that you can form your own opinion about it versus just mashing words together to sound cool or leave it up to your own understanding. No, I'm going to say what I mean. Hey, Corey McPherson. Mrs. Shook to You's trolling me too. Slightly off topic, but where does finna, finto, fixin', fixin' to fit in? Again, no issue with slang. Because even with that one, right? Fixing to. I think that regionally, fixing to was something that was said a lot more. Whereas where I'm from, about to came about to. Right? I'm fixing to, I'm about to means the same thing, but I think regionally it hits different. Right? If you're from a region of the country where they say finna, and I say finna, I like finna. I like finna. I'm a proponent of finna. I'm not a finta, I'm not finta. I'm not a fixing to, but it is fixing to, I think, is the root of finna. But I love finna. Now, I'm not going to use finna in certain environments. No, because now I sound silly. Now people are looking at me like, what she mean she finna? Right? But we all use it because it's something very near and dear to us. It's a colloquialism. It's a portion of slang that most of us, no matter where you go, we understand. There you go, Gold P. Auxiliary verbs. Now, y'all like to forget that there's two I's in auxiliary, and y'all like to say auxiliary. Y'all just like to take that second I out. There's another I there. There's one before the L and one after the L. So it's auxiliary. And I know when them chords came out, y'all just shortened it to aux chord, but it means auxiliary. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love linguistics and etymology. How fixin' to became finna is one example. Exactly. I love etymology too. Big fan of the study of words and where they come from and how we've been able to change their meaning over time, right? Because with usage comes difference. For example, with the word text, I know y'all have heard me talk about that too. The way that we say the word text. Guess what? If you do it in the past tense, it's texted. If I sent you a text message yesterday, I texted you. Hey, the Clue Channel, I texted you yesterday. Not I text you yesterday. How many of y'all say I text you, meaning that you did it already? Y'all all do that. I guarantee you 90% of you in this chat say I text you. I text you yesterday. I text you last week. No, you texted me. You texted me. Like, come on, y'all. It's texted. If it's spelled that way, why do you think you can omit the T? Why do you think that you can say text instead of texted when the T is right there? It's right there. I'm a, yes. One of my favorite ones. Chef's kiss. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get it. Because we love shortening things. And that's the thing too. It's also a regional thing. if you, yeah, I'm gone, I'm on, yeah, I'm gonna go get that. Right? All of that. He said, no, ma'am. It's texted. It is past tense, but the ED is silent. Okay. Tell Merriam and Webster that. See how far you get. Butchering. Lets you know who's capable of effectively code switching and who isn't. Exactly. When you're in certain company, there's certain things you can say and some stuff you probably just shouldn't. Please. And I am not light-skinned. If I were, it would be light-skinned. However, since I'm not light-skinned, we're just not even going to talk about that. I'm finna go to the store. Y'all want something back or no? Hey, Lavaris. I like this part of the space. Look at us being academic. I'm happy this not a fugazi corner of the internet. Listen, I can only give you what I can give you. This is really who I am. Sorry, not sorry. I like what you said here. I keep track of how who versus whom is by plugging in he versus him. Perfect. That's a perfect technique for remembering how to use who versus whom or whomst. Black Uru strikes, quite frankly, I'll beat you. Shout out to Black Uru. I love Black Uru. And I got blueberries on deck for you anytime, Black Uru. If you're listening, just know you have a special place in my heart that no one could ever take. Okay? Black Uru is like my proxy grandpa. Okay? Love me some Black Uru. Shout out to Black Uru. We need more Black Uru energy. Like if you have a senior man in your life, cue up some Black Uru. Anywhere you heard Black Uru before, just cue it up for whoever it is in your life and just play it for him. He said, I'm just playing, Toya. Like the stream. Everyone have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm just going to skip right over this comment. Okay. So let's go to the next thing. I've also been seeing a lot of redundancy with also and to. Y'all do know that also and to mean the same thing, right? Y'all do know that. Also to is considered redundant because both words essentially mean in addition, and using them together repeats the same idea, making the sentence unnecessarily wordy. It's best to choose one or the other depending on the context. Okay? I want to go to the beach and I also want to go to the pool too. I want to go to the beach and I also want to go to the pool. Boom. Both words indicate something is happening in addition to something else. Also is often used in the middle of a sentence, while to usually appears at the end. Also might be considered slightly more formal than to. And see, I don't want to put y'all in too much of a tizzy here because I know y'all don't also know the difference between to, and to. But hopefully with this stream, I could demystify that for y'all because it is redundant. You don't need to say, oh, and also to, plus, because also to, now that's misconstrue. Oh my gosh, misconstrue. This is an instance where you've taken two words that I could see why you want the two continents to meet, but they just don't because there's already a word for that. And the word is misconstrue. Misconstrue is not, let me show you. I'm going to show you. Since I got Google up, I'm going to just show you. Okay. There are multiple matches for misconstrue, including a verb meaning to misunderstand. But guess how it is not an actual word? See how right there underneath it, misconstrue is right here? Because that's the actual word. It means to misunderstand, misinterpret, or take in a wrong sense. Synonyms for misconstrue include misjudge, misapprehend, and misread. For example, according to the candidate, her comments about the city schools were misconstrued by the media. Now, they're referencing somebody who had a lyric with misconstrued in there, but you'll notice that misconstrue is not in the dictionary. Okay? Misconstrue, however, is. I don't even care how you spell it. Misconstrue. Not there. Check it out. Not there. But see what else is? Misconstrued, misconstrues, misconstrue, misconducted, misconstrued, misconnected, misconstruct, miscounseled. Okay? Misconstrue. Even if we spell it with the UE, not a word. Hate to break it to you. It's just not a word. It's not a word. Stop using it. It should not be a word. I'm so mad at you for saying that. It does sound like a broad's name on YouTube. Misconstrue. I like that. I like that. I like that. I'm going to change my headline to that. Thank you, Uncle GP. Yeah, but I'm going to spell it like that. There we go. Misconstrue. Look, I'm misconstrue. Since you want to... Sexy Red. Shout out to Sexy Red. She said, I like it. I mean, some of these things that aren't words do sound, they have a ring to it. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, some stuff really does have a ring to it. I get it. But, like, know the difference and know when to use which. Like, we're talking amongst each other. You could say misconstrue if we're having the same kind of like banter back and forth and everybody knows that we're joking, that's fine. But like, can we please act like we got some form of education? I'm not even gonna say formal, but form of education. Can we? Sounds like a bird's name. Misconstrue. Conversate. Black women from community college to Ivy League. Did you really spell Ivy League like that? Okay. Yeah. I say converse. I don't say conversate, but I also don't correct people when they say conversate because I know it's such a widely used term. So it's kind of like, all right, you know. But shout out to Very Sexy Red TV. Very Sexy Red. Like, not minimally sexy. Very Sexy Red TV. Shout out to you. Some motherfucking now and laters. Now I do call them now laters. But again, it's a colloquialism. If you grew up eating them, I feel like you have every right to call them now laters. Who says the and now and laters? I have all of my years never heard anybody call them now and laters. While looking at the package, now laters. Dot said annihilators. Yeah, annihilators. I'll take annihilators. Oh, you know, just having a little quick grammar lesson talk. Just, you know, before all the evening streamers start doing their streams. Just having a little early evening talk. Yes, it is. It's now and later. It is. It is. But I say now later. He said, Ivy Leagues are scams. That's why I got it wrong. Okay. That was a little slip and I caught it. Hey, Pow Pow. Yeah, what in the Mandela effect? Like, cause you'll remember stuff one way and then you'll look up and be like, wait a minute. Was it the Berenstain Bears or was it the Berenstain Bears? Hold up. Because I don't have any more of those books anymore, but I felt like it was the Berenstain Bears. I thought it was EIN, not AIN. But now when you look, it's AIN. Did somebody buy that? Yes. I've heard Mocontrol. I've heard Mocatrol. I've heard Mocha Patrol. I've heard Moke. Pass me the Moke. There's never been a K in that word. There's never been a K in remote. But I've heard Moke. Pass me the Moke. Shout out to y'all, though. For real. Shout out to y'all for being such good sports. Okay. The last one I want to discuss is corroborate. I think there's been some confusion. There's been some confusion about cooperate versus corroborate. I've heard corroborate, which is a mixture of the two. And that's another thing that we do. We love to take two things, mix them together, and be like, that's it. That's the one. That's what I mean. Yeah. And it's not. It's not. The main difference between corroborate and cooperate is that corroborate means to support or confirm something with evidence, while cooperate means to work together with someone to achieve a goal, in concert, if you will. Corroborate. Add proof to a statement, idea, or account with new information. For example, police corroborated his story. Synonyms of corroborate include authenticate, confirm, substantiate, validate, verify. While cooperate, a whole nother word, means to work together with someone else to achieve something. For example, the two groups agreed to cooperate with each other. And in that cooperation, they could have corroborated a story. I'm just saying, you could do both in one sentence. I digress. Amber lamps, refrigerator. Well, I think most of us, correct me if I'm wrong, put a 1 in the chat if you say refrigerator. I'm trying to see something. Who else says refrigerator? Because I say refrigerator. I know it's a refrigerator, but I say refrigerator. Electoral college. There's so many of them. There's so many of them. Okay, Leon says he says fridge. Okay, I say fridge sometimes too, but I mostly say refrigerator. Like I take the first R out and it's a refrigerator. It's not even a refrigerator. It's a refrigerator. Atlantic City. Yes. You got to be from Jersey to get that one though. It's Atlantic City, but most people say Atlantic City. Y'all going to Atlantic City? Because why do you need to put the AT first? Because you already saying going to. You going to Atlantic City? I love us for real. I do. I really love us. No, it's not a lesson. I'm just waxing poetic about some things that grind my gears as it pertains to English language, which I know the English language is a mishmash of different languages and all that good stuff. But I guess I'm just a grammar snob. And so for me, it's like, I mean, I was talking about this earlier. Different portions of the country have a different level of education that they pedestalize, we'll say. And unfortunately, because of where you grew up and what school system you went to, that has a lot of bearing on how you've come to learn the English language and how you even use it, right? Because again, regionally, if you come from a place where there's not much of a premium placed on your education, and then you live in a place where the people around you don't even speak really good English, then you're never going to really find the importance with it. But growing up in the Northeast, there's a huge effort to be able to not only speak clearly but concisely, because the pace is much faster here. It's why you get things mushed together, but also you learn the difference between things, right? Because if you're speaking that quickly, you want to make sure that whatever you're saying isn't misconstrued to mean something that you're not saying, because it's all very fast. Mr. Shug to you says, I still call it the icebox. I ain't never called it that. Pow Pow says, I have a question. Why all attached is written detached and detached is written all attached? That's cute. That was cute. That was cute. Don't let that go over your heads. Detached is written together, while all attached is two different words. That was cute. That was cute. I like that. That was good. See, I live for stuff like that. I'm wordly nerdly, so yeah, I live for stuff like that. Uncle GP says, I like using my words. That just might be a California thing. It might be, but it's also showing your age, because I think those of us, specifically Black people who have lived here for quite some time, understand the importance of using your words at a time where we weren't given them, right? So a lot of us, our first foray into language came piecemeal, right? You'd hear things people were saying, but you didn't necessarily know what they meant because you didn't have access to books to read, nor did you have access to education. As we grew out of the time where schools were segregated, we started to have more exposure to language and learning. And those tools helped us to build our vocabularies. And so coming from me personally, coming from a family where there was a premium placed on speaking well and intelligently. My grandmother, for example, she's upstairs right now. She would say to me all the time, open up your mouth, Lee. Lee is my middle name. She would say, open up your mouth, Lee. Because I used to whine a lot, and I used to, I didn't have a stutter, but I used to mumble. And so she used to say, enunciate. And she placed the precedence on that. She and my mother both had me reading at a young age. So again, if you don't come from a family where people would correct you, you think it's okay to say these things because everybody around you is speaking in this broken English. So it's all, it's just passe. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you know better, you do better, right? And if you want people to understand you, you use your words. It is sweater weather. I'm wearing a sweater. It's sweater weather. Sweater weather. It's sweater weather. It's coffee talk and sweater weather. Hey, AL. Chicago has a ton of imports from the South. It still comes through in our lingo. Yeah. True that. I mean, we do too. Like lots of people from the South migrate up to the North. Like that's why I'm here. My great granny moved her family from Virginia. And I know that some people argue whether Virginia is the South, but to me, it's the South. To me, Maryland is where the South starts. I could give you an argument about Delaware, but definitely Maryland. So anything Maryland and below, that's the South. That's the South. Anywhere you could go get those biscuits with the white gravy, anywhere you could go get that, just on the ready, you're in the South. Because you can't get that up here. There's some places you could go, but you have to go to like Perkins and but you getting the bacon, egg, and cheese. That's what we got for you. And we got turkey bacon. That's what we got for you for breakfast. We're not doing the biscuits with white. That, to me, that's gross. It's just a Southern thing, though. But shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. That's not what we're here to talk about. Still a good idea to know proper English and understanding slang. It could save your life depending on the scenario. True. Because you need to know the difference between you good and you good. You need to know the difference. Encrypted Wolf. Hey there. He brought me my chocolate bar. He knows I like chocolate. Hey, Encrypted Wolf. Being that I am an instructor and have to speak to people on a regular basis, using my words to the best of my ability is very important. I welcome correction. And you know what, Gold P? You and I have had conversations to that end. So I know that I can attest to that being true. You and I have had conversations about stuff where I know that I may not have been correcting you, but I gave you a suggestion and you took it. And you weren't like put off by my suggestion. You welcomed it. Like you said, you welcome correction. But some people don't do that. Some people are just so offended by it. And it's like, don't you see that I couldn't care less, but I do care here? I actually care. That's why I'm saying something. But I actually couldn't care less whether or not you speak correctly, whether you use proper English or not. I actually couldn't care less. But hey, there are bigger fish to fry in this world. Somebody said black people from Chicago ain't nothing but Mississippi niggas with coats on. Oh. Well, it is very cold in Chicago. Am I pro or anti Oxford comma? It depends. So as an editor, I am pro Oxford comma, but I don't believe it has any place in general speak. I don't know. I think the Oxford comma debate is something best left to writers and editors. In layman's terms, no, I don't think that it's necessary. But you should know, like even with ellipses, for example, an ellipsis is simply 3 dots, right? But a lot of times people use that and they put 4, 5, and 6, and you're like, whoa. All you need is 3. That's it. You don't like. I've seen people like really drag it out, where it's like there's like 10 dots, and I'm like, well, what are you doing here? An ellipsis is just 3 dots. More to come. To be continued. Those are 3 words, 3 dots. That's all you need. He said, right, ellipsis overload. Exactly. What is that about, you guys? Make it make sense. You can't. It won't. Never did. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to come up here and do a live stream real quick on some of my pet peeves as they pertain to grammar. And even though I posted the link, no one has hit it. So I'm going to get out of y'all's way. 4 dots equal period plus ellipsis. Okay. Whatever you say. Hey, Nan. Nan?
Yeah,
What are you moving?
the water.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me real quick why you started calling me Moo?
Your grandfather.
Because he called me Mookie?
Moo.
So you shortened it to Moo? Okay. I was just wondering.
Your grandfather started it.
I know he did, but I just was wondering because I always felt so that you affectionately called me Moo, but I never got that same feeling when he would call me Mookie. I mean, I knew he meant it affectionately, but it just hit different.
I don't remember him saying Mookie. I just thought it was always Moo. But
No, I remember him calling me Mookie. Shout out to Cornelius. My greatest pet peeve is bad drivers. She's in the basement.
Come on.
She's in the basement.
Oh,
We have an indoor-outdoor cat. When people say, let's agree to disagree on verifiable facts. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yes. And here's the thing. I'm happy to agree to disagree on something that we both have points on. But if the sky is not green, we're not going to agree to disagree on that. You're wrong. You're just wrong. When I took speech class, in which I would suggest people attend, it was great help in overcoming challenges when speaking. It forces you to correct yourself in real time, at least attempt to. Yes, absolutely. Toastmasters. If you have Toastmasters in your town, in your city, I suggest going to that because it will help you speak better. It will help you become more confident about public speaking, but it'll also put some wrinkles in your brain about things that you probably never thought about before. UFO, that's a damn good one. Yeah, it is. That's why I love when UFO Kamikaze comes through here. He drops gems in the chat too. He drops gems in the chat. Vincent drops gems in the chat. Indigo Flow drops gems in the chat. The Builders Table always has a gem to drop. See, this is why I give so much respect to my elders, because without y'all, we would just be out here running them up. Water is an East Coast thing. Yeah. Yeah. You caught us. Yeah. And depending on what part of New Jersey you're in, the A becomes an O. So it might be water instead of water. In South Jersey, it's water. But anyway, now I'm getting too far into the weeds. Is there a disagree to agree? There should be. Yeah. Well, thank you for listening to me wax poetic about grammar and things of that nature. I hope I've put a new wrinkle in your brain. Encrypted Wolf says, additional pet peeve when people make a profound argument and then I see a word used incorrectly. It's like watching someone at a full sprint just face plant. Word is bond. That's why when I was in Roger's chat last week, there was a young lady in that chat attempting to make points, and she kept misspelling things. And I get it. You're trying to get your point off. So you're just typing real fast, team typing fast. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to make a point, it loses its luster as soon as I see there's a misspelling. Sorry. Like my red pen be out all the time. All the time. Like you can't see it, but it's out. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just wish people would use me more when it comes to that, because I see folks writing really good things on their community tabs. And a lot of times there's errors in that. And I'm happy. If you just send it to me, it'll take me 5 minutes to go through and proofread it for you. I'm not going to change your voice. I'm just going to clean it up. That's all I'm here to do. I get paid to do it. Like people hire me to write articles for them just to send them to publications. And I'm happy to do that. I have a degree in journalism and in public relations. So I think I know my way around a sentence or two. And even if I don't, I know where to go to find out. And I don't use Grammarly. I hate Grammarly. I'm not a fan. Like, I don't need you all up in when I'm trying to write stuff out, and then you're telling me to move this here, or because you don't understand the point I'm trying to get across, you think I'm trying to say something else. Grammarly is good for that. I know it works for a lot of people, but I have my own internal Grammarly. So, yeah. You are the need spell check king. Well, that's what they have it for. He said, trust you are Grammarly. Yeah, you have to. Here's the thing. When you're writing, you write in the same tone that you speak. So it's important for you to go back and read what you've written so that it sounds how you want it to be read. Okay? You have to understand that when you're writing something for other people to read, you're not the one that it needs to make sense to. It has to make sense to your audience. And so it's as the writer of something, it's very easy for you to miss things. And it's not even just that you made an error. You may have missed the fully fleshing out of an idea or a point, right? A lot of times we use that, it, those, and we haven't made enough reference to the subject for the person who's reading it to know what you're talking about when you say that. I meant that, or I like that, or I like those. Those what? And so that's why proofreading is important. That's why it's important to have somebody else read through something that you've written so that they can catch those small errors or gaps, right? Because you know what you mean because you wrote it. But if the person that's reading it didn't write it, they should have just as much ease with understanding your point as you did when you wrote it or you made it. That's where I come in. So yeah. Y'all know how I like to end my streams. Peace, ease, and whatever you please. Come on back and see me another time. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.